Do you guys remember the feeling of waking up and seeing that there was a snow day called for school, whether that's like on the news or your parents get a phone call, and you being able to just sit in your room and play whatever game you were obsessed with all day? That's pretty much the same feeling I got when I read this morning that Polygon was being sold off and is laying off majority of their staff. So, in this article, it's a Kotaku article, but in this article it says Polygon sold to Valnet and hit with mass layoffs. One of the biggest gaming sites around was just blown up. Now, I just want to say this before we go into this article real quick, that I'm just not a fan of gaming journalism. I was never a fan. I haven't been a fan of these websites, or I haven't read anything from these websites in literal years. You know, majority of people, what they do to see if they should either purchase a game or see what's going on around the gaming space at this point in time is either influencers, whether that's YouTubers, content creators, streamers, or word of mouth from their friends, right? Like, if my friends recommend a game to me, I'm more likely to buy that game than to read some stupid ass article that was made in whatever website it is, whether that's Polygon, Kotaku, etc., right? So gaming journalism has been on the steep decline for a while now, and Polygon being one of the bigger gaming sites, unfortunately they're meeting their end. And, well, not unfortunately, thankfully they're meeting their end, I should say. And, you know, there's a lot of layoffs, and there's been some employees that spoke about it. I'm no longer with Polygon. If you're hiring, please consider the many talented writers and editors now on the market, posted Polygon co-founder and EIC Chris Plante, whatever, right? Anyways, a whole bunch of Polygon employees are speaking out, saying, you know, I'll say more later, but I no longer have a job, you know, I got laid off, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say this right now. The reason why this is happening is because they don't write good articles. Nobody wants to read them, and they're boring, and either it's something about social politics or just politics in general, and a lot of it is not about what we want to read, like what we want to hear. It's simple as that. And it's insane to me that these people are sitting here, you know, it sucks. Okay, losing your job sucks. All right, I've been laid off, you know, from certain jobs and stuff like that because of a decision from a higher up. And it is what it is. It does suck. This is their source of income. They are people. But here's the thing. When you are working for a company and you are the literal reason as to why the website doesn't get nearly as much traction as it did, let's say, I don't know, 8 years ago, then you're the problem. These people are the problem. Okay? You have the luxury and the power to write and speak your mind and have it be posted on this website that is, you know, making money. They have sponsors, there's advertisements on it. You know, you're getting paid to do this. You're getting paid to talk about things around the space that you're interested in, right? And in Polygon's case, you know, it's revolving around video games and of the such, right? So when you go into a space and you go into a circle of people with a community and you start writing about a whole bunch of BS that nobody wants to read, then that's on you, man. That's how it's entirely on you if you keep your job or not. In this case, okay? You know, granted, Polygon sold it to Valnet, and, you know, Valnet's probably like, we gotta get rid of these guys. You know, we're gonna start laying people off, okay? That's a decision that was made from the top, but the actions of the journalist that led up to this point is entirely on them. This could have been avoided if they just simply did a good job and wrote good articles that people wanted to read, okay? This is entirely on them. And I'm gonna be honest, if I'm a game journalism site, and if I see these people and if I read their resume, and I see their history and what they've written on this website, I'm going to be like, alright, so this happened to Polygon, they sold it to Valnet, these people got laid off, they got screwed over, right? Why would I want to employ somebody that has this history, and they're probably just going to keep doing that on my platform, and this is going to be the result to my platform now? Now, granted, Kotaku, you should pick these people up. Okay? Because I'm gonna be honest, Kotaku, you're next. Okay? Like, you guys are on the same path, alright? And plenty of other journalism websites are the same way. So, maybe they should pick these people up so we can have the same cause and effect that Polygon had. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe they should hire them, because I was about to say, you know, these guys, it's gonna be hard for these guys to find a job because of what they did to this website, right? What they did to Polygon as a company. But the more I think about it, I might change my mind. Actually, these guys should get hired at places like Kotaku and things like that, so we can start condensing these journalists, and we can start slowly dwindling out these other, like, gaming journalism websites. If you have a job, and you suck at your job, and you're actively making your company lose numbers, because everything's numbers with these companies, right? Everything. Game journalism, development teams, you know, whether you're like a fast food chain, retail, it doesn't matter what you do, you're working for somebody, and that person, your boss, they want to see numbers go up, okay? They want to see a graph, and they want to see that graph on an incline, like, you know, they want to see it go up all the time. That's what they want. And if you're not doing that, if you're making things go down, then fuck, dude, you're out of luck. You're gonna lose your job. Okay? If you're actively losing this company money over time, even if it's slowly over time, once that starts to build up, you're gone. Like, you're out of there. And that's just how it is. And so the response from this, like myself, I'm extremely happy about it, okay? Like I said, this is like waking up and hearing great, fantastic news. You know, I was groggy this morning. I made my matcha latte. I'm sitting here at my desk, and I'm like, oh, man. And then I saw this, and I'm like, amen, brother. Like, this is amazing. This is news that I love seeing, right? And if we go to, like, you know, let's go to Twitter and just look at the replies. This is from a Grumps tweet. And for the most part, I mean, like, everyone's happy about it. You know, like, everyone's happy about this news. It's satisfying, you know, good, they deserve it. And it's just, like, everybody is happy about this, right? The mass majority of people are happy about this. Now, this is Twitter, right? This is a space with a wide variety of people. If you would look, I could probably find a reply that is pretty upset about this happening. But majority of people, I mean, just like, just going through, you know, majority of people are pretty happy about this. Now, I wasn't going to do this at first, but I was curious, so I went over to Blue Sky, okay? And I don't have an account on Blue Sky, but thankfully I can look at replies and stuff like that. And I was just curious to see how people were reacting on another platform. And a lot of it is people talking about CEOs should be a felony. Gaming news site ruined by private equity reports on gaming news site ruined by private equity. Okay. All right. You know, terrible news. What a fucking bummer. Don't these creatives ever tire of disrupting people's lives or ruining great media outlets? When is it enough? God, I hate this country. Like, these are the people, and I'm just going to be honest, all right? I'm going to be honest. These people, in my eyes, are the sole reason why websites like Polygon and Kotaku are even still relevant, okay? They're hanging on by a thread, and they're just the small cogs that are working with this machine, and I just can't understand how people see this as a negative. It's been known, like, people with common sense in my eyes see these articles, and they're like, what the fuck is this guy writing about? You know, it's insane how people still support things like this in my eyes, to be honest. And regardless if, you know, Valnet is a shitty company, I honestly don't even know what Valnet does. These guys are making it seem like, where's the reply? It's like somewhere, Okay, this guy, okay. Me, who the hell is Valnet? Google's, reads more, and then no from, you know, this, from The Office, right? And then the first paragraph from the Wikipedia is a trip. So let's read this. I'm kind of curious, right? Foosball player students Matt Keezers, Stefan Manos, Sam and Hassan Youssef, started a business in online pornography in 2003, growing their successful enterprise under the Brazzers name. Geezer began Pornhub under the company Interhub, separately from Brazzers, and the business remained silent partners until Interhub was found to be the hosting videos of rape an underage girl. Oh, wow. And federal investigators of the U.S. Secret Service's Organized Fraud Task Force seized millions of dollars from Brazzers' parent company, Mansaf's bank accounts, and discovered millions in wire transferred money from Israel. This resulted in a sale of all the founders' pornography assets, while the Youssef brothers took time off from the business until they eventually founded Valnet in August of 2012. Okay, so I guess this is what people are upset about. So Valnet, the people who made Valnet have a history of doing some really shady stuff in the porn industry. Okay, sure. But, like I said before, Polygon could have avoided getting bought out by these guys if the journalists and everybody under employment just made good stuff and made the money, okay? All I gotta say is, if you want to avoid, getting bought out by a shady company, do better. That's all I gotta say. Just do better. And, I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. It was really great to see this, and I'm extremely happy, but this is fantastic. I'm glad this is happening. Kotaku's next. Gaming journalism will dwindle over time, and it'll be a great, fantastic day when that finally does happen. But anyways, I just wanted to, express my excitement for this. I'll probably work on, my next video that'll probably come out maybe early next week. But other than that, I appreciate you guys' time to take the listen, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace!